Welcome to Bleav In 76ers with your hosts, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow and two Sixers fanatics in Marcus and Teja Dash. Bleav In 76ers is presented by BetOnline.AG.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BLEAV for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bleav In 76ers podcast. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary 76ers point guard Eric Snow and my brother Teja Dash. Obviously, our lineup looked a little bit different the other night, and everyone's kind of saying this lineup with Oubre and Batum, and it's kind of looking like it should be the starting five going forward, even when Melton comes back. Quick thoughts on that, on what you saw the other night with that starting five?
I mean, I had to see some more games and some bigger games, before I can make that decision. But it's, I think it could work because, this can play both. I mean, he can play in the starting lineup. He's been successful coming off the bench. So I think you have a situation that the guy that's missing fits both roles. So it could be a real fluid transition if they decided to go that route. But I think one game or a couple games I need some body of work, and I need some of the top teams to kind of get me to kind of make that change.
Yeah. Bigger sample size.
And we jumped on them so fast, they couldn't really recover. So I would rather see it against a better team, even though Chicago's beat us twice this season before that. So but still, I want to see it against better teams. It's encouraging, though.
Yeah, very long lineup. Very long. So Melton kind of leads our show today, just talking about him a little bit more. So since then, Melton's name's kind of been brought up a lot as far as a name to throw in trades. I just wanted to kind of get an assessment on what you guys think about Melton. So with the trade deadline around the corner, the Sixers being mentioned as buyers. It's worth noting that Melton is a free agent this offseason with a $15 million cap hold in 24-25. So my question to you guys, obviously kind of picking back off what our opening conversation was, on a scale of 1 through 10, how untouchable is De'Anthony Melton for you?
I don't think anyone outside of Joel is untouchable. Even Maxey to a certain extent. I mean, I think Maxey, the price for him probably has gone up, but to say he's untouchable, I don't think that's reality. I just think that you just won't trade him for a lot. But to say he's untouchable, so I don't see anyone on the team outside of Joel right now being untouchable. That's my opinion. Now, I would love to have him back, but I don't view anyone as untouchable in the NBA.
Tej, your thoughts there?
I mean, we've said this a lot before. It would obviously depend on who you got back in a trade involving Melton. I would assume you get a starting two out of it, but I can say that no matter who you get back out of the available names, I personally, unless it just blows me away, wouldn't. Obviously, Embiid's untouchable. I wouldn't trade Maxey for a lot out there unless it just, again, blows me away. But we know the kind of available names, and I wouldn't put him in any of those deals for these guys that are rumored to be moved, Melton's been a pretty good player for us. Some people kind of shit on him. Some people say others overrate him. Some people say he's been, the perfect guy next to Maxey. I guess let's just go over kind of what we need in a player next to Maxey as he's developing into what he is, right? So you want decent size and length because Maxey's not the biggest guy in the world. A very good to excellent three-point shooter. Catch and shooter would be even better. Doesn't need to be like a point guard, but needs to, I think, help create and facilitate a little bit when Maxey, especially when Maxey's not on the floor, a guy who can maybe step into being more of a facilitator, average to good defender, and then just really hit just open jumpers all over the floor. So to kind of tie that into Melton, not the tallest guy, 6'3", but good, really good length. He's really long. Catch and shoot three-pointers, I looked that up, 36.6 off of 4 attempts a game. Amongst players that take at least 3 of those a game, he's ranked 77th. Not too bad. Right next to Damon Clay, if that makes you feel any better about that stat. He's in front of guys like Keegan Murray, Barrett, Hardaway, Reeves, Jamal Murray, Jaylen Brown, Garland, Mitchell. So he's above some pretty prominent scorers and shooters. He's 6th overall in deflections per game. Some of the bad is true shootings, I think ranked 227th in the NBA. He's ranked 124th overall in defensive efficiency. The Sixers actually, I've been looking up, they rate.
How do they rank defensive efficiency?
I think they take on and off court and see like what the difference is when you're on there, because one of the stats I saw was that we actually rank better. We actually rate better when he's off the floor defensively, which is interesting.
But I'm just saying, what is it like? How do you rank a specific person on defensive efficiency?
I think they just take their. Yeah, I don't know. I think they just take their overall numbers and just kind of put them into what their, I guess, plus minus on defense would be, and they just put them in order.
So that's really a team defense then, a team stat.
I guess it's kind of mixed, right? It's how they do as a team with him on the floor.
Yeah, but that's not an individual efficiency. Like maybe you do it in basketball, where you can put points, assists, and and the team production plus minus. But how do you do it defensively for an individual?
Are you looking at the exact equation, Teja?
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm asking the question, like, because I hear people say a person's defensive efficiency, but how do you do that for an individual? Is it an individual? Because sometimes from everything I've seen, that's why I'm asking. They say it individually, but it seems to be rated from a team perspective.
I wish I still had it up. Those are all team. Now they're all coming up team. Players. I think there is a formula for it. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm asking how do they do that? Because the reason why I asked that, and I don't want to cut you off, is like,
no, please go ahead.
If I'm guarding Jason Tatum and you're guarding Grant Williams, for instance, do you think the defensive rating would be different?
It should. That's kind of what we talked about last week or the week before about Ben Simmons guards as opposed to who Rudy Gobert guards, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's not a knock on Grant, but it's like Jason Tatum is a better offensive player. He gets more touches. He has the ball in his hands more. So is my rating going to go up or down because I'm defending him? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the judger on that?
Yeah. Should be like a higher threshold.
For defensive rating, the formula is defensive player rating equals player steals, blocks, plus opponent's differential out of 1/5 of possessions.
Yes, that's not an individual stat. That's individual stats mixed with team stats. So that's
also times people blow by you. That's individual.
Yes.
So times people blow by you, deflections, and official adjusted players defensive withstand. I do not know how they calculate that.
Yeah, that's the point that I'm trying to say. There's no way to really distinguish an individual playing defense, because you're not even saying who that on those blow-bys. It doesn't matter if you're guarding Kyrie Irving versus Porzingis.
Yeah.
let's be honest about it. Like, it's some people that got to guard Kyrie Irving, Ja Morant, Dame Lillard,
yeah,
Halliburton,
That's
Trey
why that was my argument for why
Mitchell,
Ben Simmons should be defensive player of the year for the past
Steph
like 5
Curry,
seasons.
Devin Booker. Like, you got to go from these guys. Anthony Edwards. Do I need to keep going? Luka from game to game. You guarding that type of guy.
Yeah.
But then somebody that's not guarding that guy every game, like, come on, man. That's we can go on.
There's a
with that
lot. So this other one also takes into account how many points player allowed per 100 possessions. He individually faced while on the court with them.
That's what I'm saying. So 100 possessions guarded for me guarding Kobe Bryant and somebody else guarding Derek Fisher. It's different.
It also takes a percentage of formula alone of stops, what kind of stops you're getting on them.
Kobe Bryant, Derek Fisher.
So what's the rate at a player forces a defensive stop as a percentage of individual possessions faced? But I don't see it. Okay, so there's a concept called skill curves. No, see that's offensive rating being judged in conjunction with his usage rate. So that doesn't even talk about who he's facing yet. Yeah.
Like I said, it's almost impossible to have that because you aren't defending the same players. So
Yeah.
So some of these stuff where I like a lot of these stats, but some of them are really skewed because you can't really judge based on the reality of what you're really doing.
That's why defense player of the year is so skewed.
I already told y'all that's like the worst voting the NBA has.
Yeah.
Is the all defensive team, and the defensive MVP may not be as bad as the defensive team because you're looking at stuff like this, but you're not judging. You're not getting down and studying and watching games based on who a guy's actually defending every game. Are you looking at who Drew Holiday defends every single game versus someone else that don't have to guard that guy? Come on, man. That's
it's similar. It's similar to judging cornerbacks in the NFL. Like if a guy has a great rating, but he guarded the slot receiver every time, and then you have the number one corner who shadows a team's best receiver.
Guards the number one receiver every game.
It's a big difference. I'd rather have even if that guy doesn't have as good of defensive rating as the slot corner, you have to take into account he's following Lamb, he's following AJ Brown, he's following like top guys.
That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying because offensively we judge them guys based on what they do.
Yeah, with
that ball. But we're not judging the defender based on who they're guarding.
Yeah,
and if you don't think that matters, then you're kidding yourself. Yeah. Anyway, I just think with Melton, he's most guys of his size are put in a situation where most people feel like they can be replaced. That's what it is. I think it's going to come down to whoever is this big ticket guy we either get via trade or free agency. That's going to matter. And how much he's willing to take or accept. And that would matter based on his role. What is his role going to be? Is his role going to be a lesser role based on who comes in, or an expanded role? If I had to guess, if I was a guessing guy, I would say that his role would be lessened more than expanded going forward.
Yeah,
I agree.
So
that's with or without a trade being done, or even with our current team.
I think something's going to happen regardless, because they're either going to make a trade or they're going to do something free agency. Something's going to happen. You already have Joel, so you're not going to get a big in free agency. So it's going to be a wing or perimeter player.
Mm-hmm.
Some form, even if it's someone that plays the four that's a perimeter player.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is, and you have Joel and Maxey, you're not going to have someone else taking more of an expanded role. You already, especially when you go out and you get someone like Kelly that comes in on a smaller contract and has success,
mm-hmm.
you aren't going to do that. So I would say he comes to some form of agreement. If he really likes Philly, really wants to stay, then he comes to an agreeable salary and kind of have sort of the similar or slightly lessened role, whether that's in the starting lineup or not in the starting lineup. But I think you'll see the same kind of things that he brings to the table. That's, if I was a guessing man, that's what I would say.
Yeah. And like you said earlier, he's a good flexible player. I think he could be very productive starting or off the bench. I think he can go both ways too, which helps his case as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's bringing a guy they really want that they think can bring him up a few notches, I would not make Melton a deal breaker. But I also wouldn't give him away either. He's proven he can start. He's proven to be a good bench player. So I don't think he's untouchable, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I never my thing is I never understood some of the names that we brought up as far as making moves, because I felt like they were like that's what Melton was giving us. Yeah. So some of the names I don't really understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I also thought it was pretty telling the other night before the game against the Bulls. Nurse actually said he really wanted to see this lineup out in the court together, the Oubre and Batum starting together. And he finally got to see it the other night. So I thought that was interesting that he really wanted to see that group together.
I also think it's unfair. People kind of dog Melton. If you look on Twitter, a lot of guys that are down on him dog his like playoff splits. I mean, maybe the years prior, but last year he shot like 42% from three in the playoffs. I think he did a pretty good job of catching shooting.
I leave that up to you with all that. I just say that at the end of the day, the playoffs is going to come down to us winning and guys producing while winning. That's what it's going to come. That's always the case. So
I don't think Melton's going to make or break our playoff hopes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, but more than anything, people are going whatever narrative people have on a guy, they're going to find something to fit however it is they feel about it.
Yeah. That's generally how it goes. So Eric mentioned some of the guys, some of the names that we've been kind of linked to as far as rumors and guys who are just being put on the trade block. So we're going to kind of go through the list of the guys here. So that's it's tier one, I would say, as far as the guys who are out there. So ranking I want you guys to kind of rank these players as far as, especially if they're all similar compensation as what we'd have to give out to get them. But what do you guys, as far as ranking them, and which one do you think would be kind of the best fit for us? So let's say the compensation is multiple first-round picks and stuff to go along with getting these guys. So the list of the guys that we compiled is guys who are names have been put out there as far as on the block, or guys are kind of being just kind of speculative that it could be had. So Lauri Markkanen, Mikal Bridges, Pascal Siakam, Kyle Kuzma, Donovan Mitchell, DeJounte Murray, and Zach LaVine. Which of these guys, if you were to say, yes, let's go ahead and get them, which one is one that you'd be okay if we were to give multiple first-round picks and stuff to?
Only picking one guy?
You can rank them as far as in order. Who you'd want to at least.
I don't know. I guess we can rank them together, kind of pick one at a time. I just think because it's hard to kind of rank them all like that, because if you're just ranking based on talent and success in the league, then you would have to put Mitchell first. But I don't necessarily think Mitchell's a great fit. I think he's a good fit. I don't necessarily think he's a great fit. If we talk about fit, as far as position-wise, I mean, Zach LaVine may have the best fit, but he may not be a better target than Mitchell. But he may be a better fit. That's why it's kind of difficult. I think Bridges is probably the best fit for the team. Fit.
That's my number one.
Yeah, he's the best fit because he is a true guy that can defend and catch and shoot, and he doesn't need to ISO, and he's the best fit alongside Joel and Maxey. So he's the best fit. I probably need to see a little more marketing. I know he could make shots, and he's the right position. I'm not sure. I haven't seen enough of him to know how much he needs the ball. That I don't know. I don't think Siakam is a fit whatsoever. He needs the basketball. I don't that Murray, I don't think is a fit. I think he's probably an upgrade as far as talent wise from Melton, but he needs the ball also. Kyle Kuzma is an interesting guy, but I think from a fit and style of play, he does fit.
Okay, yeah.
Multi-talented guy that can catch and shoot and score offensively. He's good third option. It's actually a good fit. I know he gets sort of a knock from his, I don't really know enough about him, but he gets the knock as far as people
antics,
thinking him buying in. What his silliness or whatever. I don't really know. I don't see him enough to know. I don't know him personally, and I can't necessarily believe everything I read.
Sure.
I just know that when your team isn't going well, it's when it's bad, it's bad.
And it's bad.
He was part of a championship team and had played a crucial role in that championship. So, like I said, that's in this situation, this fit and talent don't always mix. I mean, so I'll just say that I believe that Bridges, marketing, whatever his name is, I can't even say his name.
You got it.
And Kyle Kuzma and Zach LaVine are the better fits. I think Mitchell is probably the best overall player based on career, but I don't think he's the best fit. I think sacrifices will have to be made.
Mm-hmm.
More sacrifices will have to be made for him to come on board than some of the other guys. I think some of the other guys come on that our two top players can still do what they do, and those other guys can still have a good brand of success.
Yep. They don't have to adjust as much coming over.
Yes.
But like Mitchell and our guys would both have to adjust.
Mitchell
would be more of like a get the best guy and figure it out later guy.
I think Mitchell is the kind of guy that's like, we going all in and we got to win it. And because then you kind of like, we going all in, let's go all in and figure it out.
Yeah. I went all those, and you know me and counting money. I also went contracts too.
Yeah, but he said all things equal though. But that's what he made it. He didn't make it about money.
Well, I made it about the compensation we give out, not about the contract.
Yeah. He said all things were equal.
Well, no, but I thought I took from that he meant like trade compensation, right?
Yeah, he was like basically you getting this guy and everything is basically the same for every guy.
Oh, well, I can't do that.
Oh boy,
I'm not capable of that, Eric.
Yeah, well, that's what the question was. It wasn't based on their salary. Yeah, that's always coming into play.
I thought it meant giving up.
That he has.
I thought it meant giving up close to the same comp for each one of them, not what they actually get comp in their pockets. That's what I took from it.
I took it as he's saying, if all these guys, this was the list, sort of the tier one, he said, if you giving up basically the same thing, how would you rank them?
Yeah.
Yeah, giving up the same thing as in like in a trade for that team, right?
Yeah, we're giving away the same thing for all of those guys.
Yeah, but we're still inheriting their contracts. It is a part of it, right?
Man, you can't stop talking about the money, man. That man ain't talking about the money. He's just talking about if everything was the same, man.
If a guy's a free agent next year, another guy's locked up for 3 years at cheap, that's like a plus to me. That matters, right?
That's not what he's saying, man.
Bridges makes
having a hard time with the question, Marcus.
Bridges makes 23 and 24 the next year. That's a really sweet
He's
deal.
having a hard time with the question, Marcus.
Bridges is my number one. I'd say I went Laurie number two, even though, let me just say it. He's 18 next year, but after that, he's gonna get a big payday. Mitchell is gonna get a massive payday, but I totally agree with your assessment. I think he's the best player out there. I just think there's too much. One thing we don't want to do with Embiid, especially, is have to do another mini reset button. Oh, well, Mitchell didn't work out, but he was the best player, so let's get someone else for Mitchell and try this again. Like, I don't think we can keep doing that. I think the next guy we get, it's got to be the best combination of most talented and best fit, because I don't think we can just keep reshuffling every other year because we took our best shot and it just didn't work with that guy. DeJounte, his contract's he's an interesting player because his performance is not amazing, but because his contract's so locked in for a long period of time at pretty fair, he's getting a lot of attention on the market. Good defensive player, can make plays and ball handle, can defend bigger guards, smaller wings, catch and shoot's not great, but I think he'd be a middle between the really good fit players and like the Mitchell. I think he can fit, but I think it would still take a little adjustment because he is kind of ball dominant. And that's why him and Trey aren't working as well, because Trey is also ball dominant. Kuzma's interesting, man, because when you hear him talk, he says the right things. He talks about like the nuances being, I've seen him many times talking about the small nuances being lost in the NBA nowadays. But then you see him on a fast break missing a reverse dunk. It's like the nuances are gone. Reverse dunks and missing them on an open breakaway doesn't help, Kuzma. Like, I mean, practice what you preach. So I like his game. I think it would fit well. And his contract's fair too, 23, 21, and 19 in the next 3 years. So his contract actually goes down. For the output, it's great. But I think if you get Kuzma, I would think Tobias is probably a goner, right? So I mean, like not even for a trade, but just like in the offseason, it's like, all right, well, we got our kind of like 6'9" guy to replace Tobias. Some of the other guys, you look to keep Tobias and add them. Siakam, it's the shooting that does it for me. Everything else he does really well. He can play make. You can give him the ball in ISO. I just don't think. I think low mid 30s not enough for the kind of guy we need. So that's pretty much. And another problem with Siakam is he apparently doesn't want to sign an extension. He wants to come and then become a free agent and control his own destiny, which is fine. I respect that, but for a team that's trying to give up assets to acquire him, that's a little sketchy.
And apparently there was a report that Nurse said he didn't want to come to Philadelphia and recreate the Toronto Raptors to bring back all his guys. So like that's also another thing there as well. Especially
for a guy that apparently didn't get along with him that well. So that would also hurt in that process. Yeah. And Levine, good player. I'm going to count the money again. It's the reason why no one's traded for him yet, because that contract is massive. Like, and with the new restrictions for cap, it's going to make it tough to build a really good team around that. We'll be in cap hell for years. I mean, I wouldn't hate it, but at the same time, I think we can get guys to fit our team better that, probably make half as much as he does.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. So if we're talking about the like the lesser trades, so this would be the tier B trades. These are other guys still being mentioned as guys who are on the trade block. Earlier today, there's a report that pretty much everybody on Atlanta is available besides Trae Young. He's the only guy who's untouchable. Everybody else,
and their forward Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson and Trae Young, the only two that are untouchables. But so this would be if we went for a smaller deal as opposed to going for a big time deal like from the one before that. So this would be like a compensation the same. So let's go 1 first-round pick and stuff to send off to these guys. So the players are Alex Caruso, Andre Drummond. We got both Bogdanoviches, the Bogdanovich from Detroit as well as the Bogdanovich from Atlanta. If you guys could rank them from top to bottom in this, who you guys want of these?
And this is we're not losing the player.
I would say
let's say contractually, let's say we lose most of them around like the 18 to 20 range, except for Caruso and Drummond. They don't make that much. I'd say for Bogdanovich, Clarkson, you'd probably lose Marcus Morris.
Okay.
Just for salary matching reasons.
This one, I would say the way Kelly and Batum are playing, you got Melton. I would say you got to be a little more.
Come on, Eric.
Drummond is intriguing because of, the history of Joel and having someone that can solidify that position when necessary, rebounding, defending, scoring. I guess he can score. He does score. So that's intriguing. And then Jordan Clarkson does give us something we do not have. A guy that comes off the bench and gives you instant offense.
Yeah.
So that's something that's intriguing to me.
It'd be nice to have either him or Maxey on the floor at all times. You'd have like
that's intriguing. I mean, that's intriguing from having when you go away from Joel or you go away from Maxey, that you can have a guy like him that's pretty much going to always be 1-on-1.
Yep.
So it's a tough matchup for some teams. The two bogeys, one from Detroit I really like. It's just I don't know how much you could utilize him with Tobias.
I know. Yeah. I agree.
That's the issue. But that's why I was asking if anyone was staying or leaving. So I would probably say the other one from the Hawks would be more valuable for us because he's more of a catch and shoot. And with our guys, that's a better fit. And it's a better fit at his position. Caruso, I like what he does. I'm not sure if he can. I'm not sure if he's going to give us what Melton and Bev don't already give us. In my opinion.
Yeah. I guess you get a little more. Yeah. It's funny. I think Caruso's like a cross between Melton and Bev, isn't he? You get a little more of the ball handling, and you get a little more of the defense.
I don't mean because they both can handle the ball too. They handle the ball just as much as he does. He's just big. He's just taller.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't make that move for him with those two guys on the team. I don't see why that would be necessary.
Number one for me, Atlanta bogey. You like that, Marcus? I see you like that. You got happy about that one, huh?
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
He has injury concerns. That's all.
He does have injury concerns. Great fit, though. A little bigger. Can shoot. Can play make a little. He can start or come off the bench. He's had a career of doing both. Top 5 in 3-point contest on defense, which is pretty impressive. I think he's 20th in deflections, which is also interesting. I don't really know him to be that kind of guy, but good for him. And contract good, 17, 16, and 16 the next 3 years. You got him locked in for 3 years in the teens. I think that's pretty damn good. He's a little older than I thought. I thought he was in I thought he was 27. He's not, though. I think he's 29 or 30. I'd say, you're making me rethink the Caruso thing. I had Caruso number 2. I would think if you consolidated, because he makes, I think, 9. He makes 9 next year. So if you did trade some of the smaller contract guys and consolidated some of your guards, then I could see Caruso making more sense. But you'd have a log jam of the guys with Caruso, Bev, and Melton. be a little tough. And Springer, right? Who like a lot of people want to see get more minutes too. Clarkson, yeah, I'd say Clarkson's hard to turn down. He's a major spark off the bench, can go off scoring. It'd be nice to have him and Maxey on the floor at all times. Another really good contract, and he's making 14 the next 2 years. So that's awesome. I completely agree with Bogdanovich, Detroit, with Eric. I mean, good shooter, good size, but that's redundant with Tobias, and B, is a free agent next year. So that would just be a rental. I'm not sure how worth it that is. Drummond, I like it, and you laid out why, but we also talked about this a couple of weeks ago. It's tough to sink assets into a player that's really just an insurance policy, right? And he's going to play like 10, 15 minutes a game tops. Like, A, he doesn't want to do that anymore. He wants to start and play major minutes. And B, like, if we had to give up assets for that, it's hard to do that. Other guys you could throw into this, by the way, I was thinking about this while answering the question. Tyus Jones, another guy. Dorian Finney-Smith, another guy. And then even Cam Johnson from Brooklyn, another guy. He makes a little more than a lot of these guys do in this tier, but I think Cam Johnson would be such a good fit on our team. 12th overall catch.
What does Cam Johnson do that Detroit Bogey doesn't do? Same type of player.
No, they are. He's under contract for 3 more years, though. Bogey's a free agent.
Oh, yeah, you're looking at salary. I'm just looking at players.
No, yeah, they're very similar, I'd say. I'd say Cam Johnson's probably a better defender than Detroit Bogey. But I was looking at his catch and shoot, 12th overall catch and shoot threes for a guy that takes at least 3 a game. He takes almost 5 a game. Shoots, dude. He takes 5 threes a game. Catch and shoot, 46% catch and shoot from 3. I mean that's crazy. That is exactly the kind of guy you want. I think when we were talking about Laurie earlier, I think Cam Johnson's just a cheaper Laurie, really. I mean, not this, actually, technically not this year, but in the future, because Laurie's going to get 40, 50 million. But his cap's pretty, fair. It's 23 over the next 3 seasons. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that would fit. Looking at this, I think there are a lot more smaller deal guys that fit us rather than the big deal guys.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think Tyus Jones would be a nice one too. Of the other guys that you mentioned. As far as Cam Johnson and Bogey, what's the age difference between the two of them? It's pretty significant, isn't it? At least Bogey looks ancient compared to Cam Johnson. At least.
Oh, you mean Detroit?
Yes, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Cam, I think he's like 7 years older than him.
Okay, yeah, okay. So
that's a big difference. Yeah, he's 27. I think Bogey's like 34, 33.
Yeah.
He is 34. Yeah, 7 years.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, this the trade deadline is gonna be very interesting. I mean, I feel like every year there's a lot of guys who like at this point get placed on the trade block, at least reported. And then you got stuff today right before our show that Kuminga wants out, Moody wants out of Golden State. So every day there's more and more people being added to the trade block, I guess.
Yep. That's why we're waiting.
Would Kuminga be a good fit or no? I'm just curious. So that's a name I'm seeing.
I don't see how he could be a good fit with what we have. I mean, he's a young piece, but I don't see how he could be a good fit for what we have.
Also, if he's trying to find minutes, if he's having a hard time trying to find minutes on a Golden State team without Draymond, you're going to come to our team and have easy minutes on the floor? I don't think so.
What about Wiggins? Because that's a guy who they say, I mean, he's having a down year this year, and that's another guy that apparently could be on the move as far as another name I've seen.
Not a good fit for us.
No?
Yeah.
I don't think he's a good fit for us, no.
I like Wiggins, man. It's just been a really rough year.
I don't think Philly's the place for him either.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, that's a good point. Personality-wise, I think he needs a change of scenery. I just don't know if Philly is that scenery he needs a change of.
Well, joining up with Embiid as a college teammate. I mean, I don't know. It could be a nice little change up for him.
Yeah, but for every Embiid, you have thousands of raving crazy fans yelling at him. So I don't know if that ratio is going to do that well.
Yeah, I get it. All right, well, because now we're going to go to our game picks to end the show. So tonight, the Sixers will be hosting the New York Knicks on ESPN. The line opened up at 6.5-point favorites for us. I Bleav it's now down to 6. So Sixers 6-point favorite at home against the New York Knicks. Who do you have on this one?
Who's out? Because you always want me to answer without telling me who's out.
I think it's just Melton. I Bleav he's the only one out tonight. Let me
injury report.
Yeah.
So I say we win and we cover.
Let me see.
Yeah, Rocco's game time decision. Melton is out, and Furkan Korkmaz is a game time decision. On their side, only Malachi Flynn game time decision.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think we win and we cover. I think that's a pretty. New York's playing pretty well, especially the new look OG. Need to be sad watching that game, Eric, with our dream trade target on the other side of the court.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, so Knicks, Sixers should win this one. And then tomorrow night, Saturday night, Sixers are again hosting the Utah Jazz. So we have a back-to-back, and I don't Bleav the Jazz do not play tonight. No, they do. Jazz play Boston, so they're going to be on a back-to-back as well. So we'll be hosting the Jazz tomorrow. Both teams on a back-to-back. No spread out for this one yet. So
I assume they're at Boston.
They're at Boston, yes.
Okay, that'd be a brutal overnight trip from Utah to Philly.
Yeah, we'll win. We'll win that one, no matter how tonight goes. Just got to be careful with whether guys are going to play. With it being a back-to-back, we don't know. So, but I still say we hold on to it. Have to win the game you're supposed to win.
100%. How many more games can Joel miss and still be eligible? Like
I think someone said 11. So I don't know
11,
if he played
11 more.
He missed one after that. It was 11 when I seen it, and I don't remember if he missed the game after I seen that.
Let me see.
Yeah, I think it's like within like 7 to 10 or 7 to 11.
How many games did he have to play? It was like 66, was it?
65 or 67, I think.
Okay. And he's missed, let's see. He's missed how many games? One.
We have a good amount of back-to-backs coming up, too.
4, 5, 6. He's missed 7,
okay.
I think. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. 4, 5, 6, 7. So he can make. You said 60. So 17.
I think it's 65. You have to play. So I think he
missed
10 more.
So 10 more. Okay. So yeah, I mean, judging on how much he plays, he could be a candidate for a sit out on a back-to-back. I think either way we win though. Although Utah, we were saying this yesterday, they have a better record than I thought they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're fighting for the playoffs too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play in rather.
Yeah. It could be interesting too if Embiid does sit out tomorrow night. Put up Paul Reed in there, the team that offered him that contract that we had matched the sheet to. The Paul Reed revenge game. Well, it's not even revenge, but
it's a thank you game, not a revenge game.
Thank you. Yeah. Shows appreciation to them.
Yeah, that's true. He did not want to go to Utah, so yeah, he's appreciative. All right.
Yeah, well, Salt Lake City's nice. So I've heard. I don't know personally.
Eric, you like Salt Lake City, like Utah?
I mean, it was good to play, like in and out. It's a good city. It's
It was nice. Cool. It was cool to get in and get the hell out. Huh?
No, I'm just saying it's a nice city for
a stop by.
To stop in. I mean, good scenery and stuff. If you're into all that, I'm not really into the skiing and Park City and all that. I'm not into that. But if you are, it's a great area to be in.
Yeah, I had a buddy who worked in the local news in Utah and was there for 7 months, and he had a dip. He just wasn't a fan of it. He's a Detroit guy, so going to Salt Lake City, he wasn't into it.
Yeah, that's different. I could say that's different, very different from Detroit.
Yeah, different, definitely different vibes. So after Saturday, Sixers don't play again until Wednesday night, where we travel to Atlanta. And then I Bleav that's it's not back to back. Okay, so. Yeah, so we got some days off for the guys. And then next Friday, we are on ESPN again. So we got some nationally televised games coming up here. So get into a fun part of the season, guys. But That does it for us, guys. We hope everybody enjoyed the show. We'll see you guys on Tuesday as we discuss this, hopefully, back-to-back or this winning streak we're about to go on right now. So,
All right. Take it easy.
all right, guys. See you, fellas.
All
Hey, guys.